Aaron, Emily, and Victor. We are in the Raham House Church, shepherded by Ed Pack and Katie Pack. One thing I appreciate about Ed and Katie is their transformation. I really appreciate all of the efforts that they put into obeying and being faithful, and so they inspire me. My relationship with money has been rough at times, but thankfully I've never come close to being a debt to society. In my childhood, when my family first immigrated to the US, my family was considered low class. I saw my parents working hard to provide for my brother and I, and so we've never had to go without anything. My parents came from a generation of scarcity. They saved as much as they could and never spent on anything frivolous. They considered it a success to have 5 freezers full of food, all of which, of course, are secondhand. No one really knows what is exactly in them. But nevertheless, they are full to the rim, and so were my parents' satisfaction. As long as they had enough food to eat, I guess, they didn't need anything else. When I became an adult and started working, I knew I wasn't the best at keeping my finances. The clues were everywhere. I had student loans, credit card debts, and New York City rent to contend with on a measly architect's salary. My goal was to live a balanced life and thought that I deserved nice things since I worked hard for my paycheck. Instead, I spent most of my singlehood paying off debt. I wish I had taken this class 30 years ago. It not only was informative with a practical framework of how to manage money better, but also how to have a better perspective of it. The perspective, of course, that God owns it all, even my money. I always knew that God gave me my talents and gifts to be able to work. He gave me my job and have helped me to keep my job over the last 25 years. I guess I thought that the money I earned from doing my job was mine alone as long as I was fulfilling my duty of tithing. Not only that, admittedly, there have been some irresponsible spending and not saving effectively. Speaking of which, my mom the other day came to me with a plastic bag full of cash. She had been stowing it away in one of the freezers next to the anchovies. She's Korean, so it's not the mattresses, but the freezer she takes it to. She had been saving here and there over the years and asked me to take care of it now before she forgets all about it in her old age. I have to, make a money trail, find a diversified fund, and avoid taxes according to this class. I want to be very careful and consider all of the options because I love her very, very much. In this same way, I should be thinking of the money I've earned. It's God's money in my care. This charges me to think twice about how to handle it and what it means to be a good steward of it, because I also deeply love Him. This brings me to the 3 things I've discovered about my financial health through this class. First, I'm embarrassed to say that I have never done a budget until this class. I always thought that spreadsheets are dizzying, and I was right. I don't like them. And when it comes to my finances, I always thought that as long as I don't overspend what I earned, I didn't think it necessary to be micromanaging my checkbook. When I got married, Stephen and I have an end-of-the-year discussion regarding the state of our family's goals and identify the big items that are coming up in the new year. Then we adjust our money pool as necessary. We're big picture people and don't really get too hung up on the nitty-gritty. We each have things that we have OCD for, but neither of us find joy in spreadsheets. This system has worked for us thus far, I thought. But as we were doing our balance sheet, also for the first time in this class, the bottom line was rather a surprise. It seems we have done an okay job in some parts of our finances, namely our retirement funds, but not so great in others. Which leads me to the second discovery. We have not saved enough for our kids' education. Sorry, kids. We try to be responsible, and we began the 5 to 9 plans for each of our kids when they were born, but the monthly payments, I think, were just too low for the magic of compounding to work its magic. Probably the spreadsheet might have helped. We had hoped to pay for their undergraduate tuitions, but I suppose it's not the end of the world if 1 or 2 of them have to take out a loan. Although, according to this class, alone is not a good idea. They'd have to use the snowball and do some killing. It's just not ideal. The last discovery was shocking. Stephen and I have always tithed. I learned about tithing when I was single, working, and trying to walk the Christian life at the church I was attending at the time, as was Stephen also. That is one thing we saw eye to eye on when we got married. Wherever we were, we always try to be consistent in our giving. But through the budgeting exercise, we've come to find that we were short on tithing. I guess while our paychecks were increasing, we have not been increasing our giving equally. I was shocked and humbled. I couldn't believe I was shortchanging God. I had to repent and ask God for forgiveness. In the end, I have 3 resolutions. First, I still have an aversion to spreadsheets, but through this class, I have realized that when used for good, it can be a helpful tool. So Stephen and I will work it into our year-end review to monitor our stewardship and increase our giving. Not only to tithe in the true sense of the word, but also dare to set a loftier goal of giving beyond. Secondly, I would like my kids to take this class so that they can have a healthy view of money at the beginning of their working careers, if not sooner, in hopes that they not make the same mistakes. Also, this class is not only practical, but deeply spiritual, because I think how you decide to handle your finances sets the tone for how you will want to walk the Christian journey. Finally, tithing and stewardship apparently is not the same thing. I sometimes use the words interchangeably, but tithing is the giving back to God 10%, while stewardship is the use of God-given resources for the accomplishment of God-given goals. So currently I'm praying to clarify what my God-given goal is at the end of my work life, aka at the end of my accumulation phase. I would like to spend my retirement wisely and live abundantly for the cause of Christ. Thank you to all of my classmates for the lively interactions. I really enjoyed getting to know some young people. And special thanks to Sean Kim for fearlessly and expertly teaching it. Thank you.